This presentation will explore the impacts of advocacy campaigns surrounding criminal justice in Indigenous communities, focusing on Australians for Native Title and Reconciliation, or ANTAR's Change the Record campaign, and the Public Interest Advocacy Centre, or PIAC's Justice Reinvestment Initiative, as advocacy projects which defend the rights of Aboriginal people. These advocate groups find their purpose within the ongoing prevalence of injustice concerning the lives and circumstances of Aboriginal people in Australia. Particularly, the disproportionate number of Indigenous people who experience incarceration remains a primary concern, where Aboriginal people make up almost 1/3 of Australia's prison population, and these figures continue to increase. ANTAR works to collaborate with Indigenous Australians in overcoming disadvantage and supporting the interests of the First Australians through transforming the perspectives and conduct of Australians who do not identify as Aboriginal. The Change the Record campaign represents Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australians who are involved in the criminal justice system, either through incarceration, being taken into police custody, or partaking in community justice initiatives. The advocacy focal point centres on adopting morally focused approaches to addressing Indigenous issues, and the importance of just and productive government-community partnerships in advocating for strategies to address the significant overrepresentation of Indigenous people in Australia's criminal justice system. Despite powerful campaigns, submissions to state and federal government departments are yet to impact upon policy development. The Public Interest Advocacy Centre endeavours to promote the voices of Aboriginal people for inclusion in policy making, in order to combat the negative influences of systemic discrimination. The Justice Reinvestment campaign targets Aboriginal people who have had experiences with the criminal justice system, and focuses on productive partnerships to override factors contributing to disadvantage and rates of incarceration amongst Indigenous communities. This includes offering legal advice and representation to Indigenous Australians and attempting to modify police procedures that embody a lack of respect for Indigenous cultures and belief systems. PIAC's Justice Reinvestment campaign has led to the development of the Indigenous Justice Program, subsequently adopted as policy by the Australian Government. The existence of some level of corroboration between advocacy groups and government mean that although there are some key differences in the representation of Aboriginal people in policy, there are also some important similarities. For instance, both policymakers and advocates emphasise the need for deeper recognition of underlying causes of disadvantage leading to criminal behaviour, such as intergenerational trauma, as well as community partnerships to address these issues by increasing Aboriginal input. On the contrary, because policy is governed by outcomes and statistical changes, Aboriginal offenders are somewhat dehumanised in policy in favour of target-based language, where institutions, rather than people, are empowered. For example, where policy emphasises punishment and arrest rates, advocates champion rehabilitation, education, and healing. In sum, though policy and advocacy campaigns by nature are inevitably different in the manner in which persons are represented, the existence of important similarities in this instance are central to the development of viable and effective approaches for addressing issues relating to criminal justice in Aboriginal communities. Thank you.